Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of Slappa. Shall we?
Public thing forever. I think I even talked about it on there. That's against TOS, though? No, it is not against TOS. It is
What?
absolutely not against TOS to have somebody use their own money to buy subs and bits for the channel if they want to. That in no way was triggered by me, nor was he compensated for that or reimbursed for it. That is not against TOS. So it's a shit joke at this point. Thousands and thousands of communities across this entire platform and find lots of different moderators supporting the stream. Do you know why? Because moderators are generally the first fans of the stream. That is how that works in every community on this platform. And people somehow don't understand that because you're blinded by your dislike of me. And I understand that you're upset at me, but you have to stop making shit up to be mad about. It's stupid at this point. Like, that's been a public thing forever. I think I even talked about it on there. That's against TOS, though? No, it is not against TOS.
I don't know what the... Hold on. Airsoft responds to the viral Kronos clip, his mod, Hype Train. Oh, I could find something. Hold on. Parrot Software situation is sad by Dolan Darkest.
Welcome back to Slop Live.
Yes, we consume the slappa, we lick the slappa, we slurp the slappa.
Slopic is about pirate software. You may know him as the man who lies about a bunch of stuff and refuses to apologize about anything when he's wrong, such as with the Stop Killing Games movement. Well, he's been accused of breaching Twitch's terms of service by artificially extending a Twitch hype train. If you didn't know, a Twitch hype train is basically when enough people donate, a timer starts, and if people keep donating before the timer runs out, the hype train keeps going. On his stream from a few months ago, he accidentally opened DMs with his moderator, showing that the moderator donated bits and planned to do it again on an alt. Though, because it was only a small amount of donations, I feel like it might be a bit of a stretch to say this was planned. A 30-minute YouTube video about this claims there could be legal concerns. A post about this on Twitter that got some traction actually got a reply from Pirate Software himself, saying that the mod used his own money to do this, and asked if it was okay to do so. He wasn't paid or told to do this either. He's a grown man who can spend money how he chooses, and you can hate me all you like, but going after my stuff
but he's associated with you.
DMs mentions an 82% return. It was thought maybe Pirate was reimbursing the mod. Pirate also clearing up on Twitter that this is just the standard Twitch rate. As with purchasing 25,000 bits, around 82% of your purchase actually goes to the streamer. So yeah, basically a giant nothing burger. There's honestly plenty of valid stuff to critique Pirate Software for, but at this point people are just trying to find any reason to hate. Though looking at the views this guy's getting, no wonder he's milking Pirate Software.
God damn, those are a lot of views. Alright, thank you. I like this video. Very informative. But I want more opinions. I saw more. This one, for example. Pirate Software Twitch fraud allegations. Fast facts. 16-minute video. Fast facts, bro. Bro summed it up in 1:30, please. Anyway, hold on.
Welcome back.
Forgot to do something. Yes, it was a 1:30 video, but we do not take everything for granted. We take nothing for granted. That's just how I operate here. On the YouTube and on Kick as well. There we go. And now this dude. React. Pirate Software Twitch fraud allegations. Fast facts. Let's go. If Andrew Esquire. Okay.
Pirate Software has opened
legal
the door
mindset.
to fraud allegations.
Oh, okay.
DM shows some controversial behavior regarding his mod, bit donations, hype trains, and we're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. This is The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge in a fast facts format, bringing you the quick and dirty version of the latest news. So, Pirate Software has been in the internet news over the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months for various things
6
that he has been
months?
doing. But
I only
now we
know
have
about it
him
for a few
actually getting
weeks, like
caught in
2
something where there could
or
be
3
real
weeks.
legal liability. Now, to be very
I
clear,
think.
we are not
I'm not sure.
addressing the
My
drama
perception
today.
of time is
So
pretty
we're not
shit.
going to talk about how he got his party killed in WoW and how he failed to even give a basic apology and say, hey, look, listen, this was really my fault. I could have done more here, not try to deflect it, not try to blame everybody equally, but just take responsibility and own up. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about any of the fig tree allegations and whatever he did with a ferret. That's between him and the ferret. We're also not talking about Stop Killing Games, although we did talk about that on a previous episode, and you can tune back and catch my Stop Killing Games commentary. However, one thing we are going to talk about is this fall in subs, because a lot of this does have to do with the fact that Pirate Software, due to all of these controversies, is hemorrhaging subs. And when you are hemorrhaging subs, and I'll bring this up again at the end, this opens you up to a lot of potential problems from people that used to be supporters. So obviously, in the over 104,000 people as of date over the last just 30 days, losing over 104K followers. Amongst those certainly are some whales, some people that donated a lot to his channel and now feel really, really hurt, or feel betrayed by Pirate Software. And whenever you have that happen, not only are you going to have more people paying attention to your channel, more people looking for you to make mistakes, more people logging what you're doing, but you're also increasing potential liability, because one of those people, any of those people that donated a lot, that felt they gave a lot, might have claim or cause if you end up slipping up and they felt misled, and that might generate some sort of cause of action. And that's something we might have here today. So let's get into it. What happened? So Pirates.
So wait, I may be interpreting this wrong, but if someone like donates like 50, I don't know, just a huge amount of money, and you have been like false, like being playing pretend in front of the camera, and like not, you know, completely different, and people are like, oh, if I knew you were this from the start, I would never have like donated to you, like stuff like that. Do they then have a claim on the money, like back, because they donated to something that was like falsely advertised? Is that it? Holy shit.
While live, accidentally showed a DM with his moderator. That DM shows that his mod was purchasing bits to extend Pirates hype train. Now, that's a Twitch thing, and we're over here on YouTube. We only have hype trains and you guys smashing the like button and commenting on the video, which is always appreciated. But that's a particular mechanism at Twitch, and Pirate Software has actually been known for breaking that record repeatedly. In fact, only recently, I believe the VTuber Vidal, Neurosama over there, beat his record, but previously he'd been setting records as related to this hype train. So it's something that, you know, as a channel, if you're setting records, you're typically pretty proud of that. Now, it appears his DM, the DM with his moderator, it appears his DM was purchasing bits to extend Pirates hype train. Now, by and in and of itself, and we're going to see that with the terms of service, etc., that probably wouldn't be a problem if the moderator was doing that on their moderator account, right? And the moderator was just, as a moderator, going and donating those bits. However,
I see Kirsch's moderators donating to her all the time on her Stream Elements link and all that stuff. They do that pretty regularly, which is fine, but going onto an alt account is kind of weird.
It was beyond just the moderator doing it. The moderator was donating them not with their main account, but with an alt account, which the mod made Pirate aware of, and which presented itself not as the mod, but as a friend of the mod, as a separate person who was not the mod, which is...
And someday Mumi will break that hype train record. Well, fork out the money, Azure Hood! Where's the money, shithead? I'm sorry. I don't want to pressure anyone into donating.
For this, of course, if you want to catch the full analysis, right, the full breakdown, you can always catch the full version on my live. So here is Pirate Software, and this is the moment in which he was caught in 4K showing the DM. So here's him.
Oh.
I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make what?
Okay, so here's where he pulls it up.
Oh.
This is the screenshot. We're gonna go into it.
That's why I don't like capturing my whole window, my whole display. I hate doing that. I'm only doing this for Destiny.
Pulling it up on stream here, and I'll just go ahead and let the rest of it play. As you guys will see that this is indeed Pirate Software. You can see his messages between Kronos, the ones that we were just showing you, and then you're going to watch.
So you can see he's got it up here. He's gonna click away, right? He clicks away pretty quickly, right, to get over here. And by the way, another thing, big credit to Quinn Theo. I'm going to tag his video in the video below for bringing this up and for making this presentation and kind of collecting this together. But in that screenshot, we have some pretty damning proof that he was talking with the moderator in order to engage in this behavior. So let's look at this here. I'm going to read through this for you guys so you get it. So Pirate Software says, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. So what do you?
I don't have it. I don't even get a plush or a docky or a cup. Ooh, you get a cup. Don't you lie to me. Are you getting a cup? Don't you lie to me. You dirty. No, I don't want to force anyone to like try. I don't want to pressure anyone into donating. I feel bad.
What is the most efficient way for you to buy these?
Frosty, where's your donation? Where's your donation? Come on, donate, Frosty. Come on, be a supportive mod. Like with Pirate. Come on, give me that level 12 hype train. Oh, you wanna fuck your streamer? Alright, let's go. Try it. Come on. You know where I live. You'd rather pound than pay up. Well, alright, bend over. We're gonna do this the fun way. Oh my god. Hello, Iron. Welcome back.
And then extend the hype train. And the return would imply that he's going to get money back, that he's going to get reimbursed.
Wait, hold on. I missed everything there.
To buy these bits and then extend the hype train. And the return would imply that he's going to get money back, that he's going to get reimbursed.
Oh.
So that implies that as this moderator is donating, Pirate Software is going to pay him back for what he gets.
More important, we're useless to know. Showering.
He's going to get, as Pirate Software says, like an 82% return. See, T3s might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought it? He says, I've done 100 T1s on my personal, ready to do 40 T3s on my alt.
Why on your alt?
Bits instead or both. Did 50k bits at 20 seconds left. So saying he extended the hype train with 50k bits when there were 20 seconds left. Okay.
That's a whole lot of bits.
Serendipitous Bean. Remember that name, Serendipitous Bean. It's going to come up. Where's the beef? And then he goes on to say, didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. The queue is referring to his kind of backup TTS queue, which he has to clear or it's donated to charity. But the more important thing is this Serendipitous Bean. And here's this profile here, this information courtesy of Guy on Twitter. So thank you, Guy. This was...
Man, I wanted to be done with Pirate. Why does he have to go up and get something exposed? And now I'm interested. What the fuck? Now I'm invested again. Fuck! I wanted to be done with this. Man.
The description here of Serendipitous Bean. IRL friend of Kronos. So Kronos is the main moderator. And excited that they are free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for the people here. There aren't many cooler supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards. So this person is clearly painting themselves as not Kronos, not the moderator, but a separate IRL friend of this moderator, which is extremely deceptive if you
That
ask
is
me.
deceptive.
Now, how does this convert to a legal issue? Well, there's three.
So what I want to preface here is a moderator sending you money. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If the moderator is someone who just genuinely likes your content, everything is dandy. The problem is he is disguising himself as a random fan who has like little like a connection to the mod instead of the mod himself. So this is a false identity kind of. Well, it's not that far because it's just online drama, right? But you know, this is deceptive. Legal Mindset has this completely right, probably because he studied law and I didn't. But I'm talking from a moral standpoint here, not from a legal one, because I have no idea about legal issues. So I'll leave that to the mindset legality.
Potential legal questions, and these were brought up also by Quinthio in his very good video, which once again,
Indeed. Quinthio has pretty good videos.
I'm introducing a third one here. So the first one is Twitch terms of service. Then we have federal law violations and state law violations. So let's look at the Twitch terms of service. So obviously, Twitch has a terms of service. There's many things you can and cannot do, but one thing they have is called a bit acceptable use policy. So you're supposed to use bits in a certain way. You're supposed to behave like a normal contributor and not do certain impermissible things. Like, for example, you can't solicit bits in exchange for money or donations. You can't provide items or services that are associated with monetary value in exchange for bits. And a big thing here, this is one that I think he has to really watch out for, is selling, offering to sell, trading, bartering, or transferring bits to other users in exchange for real or virtual currencies. So if this mod is using these bits and transferring them to Pirate Software, and Pirate Software is converting that to cash and paying him back, that would appear to violate the TOS. Beyond that, you cannot use the bits to engage in any fraudulent, criminal, or otherwise unauthorized activity, soliciting or receiving bits for any fraudulent or any other criminal activity. That could be a problem because of the nature of what they did, because they engaged in a kind of fraud there where you were having a stock puppet account, a fake account, an alt account, right? That is donating these bits, pretending to be a friend instead of a mod. Now understand that a mod can very well be perceived as an agent or an employee of the streamer. So if a mod goes out and does something on the streamer's behalf, they are an agent. And the streamer is what's called the principal. That's principal agent theory. And a principal can be liable for the actions of their agent. If you tell somebody to go out and do something, and
this is amateur shell company shit, indeed.
Them for that, they are your agent. So it's as if the streamer was doing.
This is such a bizarre setup. Yes, I didn't see that message. Sorry.
Shows he knows this. He was told this, and he didn't say, don't do that. He didn't say, well, that might be against TOS. He says, well, that's kind of shady. No, he's like, okay, great. He's like, okay, fine. In fact, he's strategizing on the best way to do this, which is once again, not a very good look when we're coming to allegations of fraud. So let's continue here. We have federal. Oh, no, sorry. Let me go back here. With the terms of service, some people allege, and this is more of a kind of niche allegation here, but some people do allege, and this is something that I believe one of the lawyers brought up for this, was that, well, this is something that there might be a separate contract for. So the lawyer that was talking to Theo said, hey, there might be a separate contract that might supersede that. Well, in a separate part of the Twitch terms of service, which I looked up, it actually says even in other agreements, even if there is a separate agreement, even if there's a supplement, you still have to follow these terms and you cannot violate them. And I'm very sure that a separate agreement would have incorporated that statement because it's intended to be applied to all separate agreements. So even if there was a separate private streamer agreement, even if Pirate Software got a lawyer and negotiated a private agreement with Twitch, even if that happened, I doubt he's able to break those terms. And beyond that, he's not allowed to break the law. And what we get into next, and again, it's very spicy, is potential violations of federal law and state law. So let's talk about federal law. Federal law is the federal.
I'm so glad I got a second opinion. At first I was like, 16 minutes, how? And now I see, oh, there's more to it than the first guy led up to be. Oh. So this is actually, damn. He's good at his job, yup. He did study law. That he did.
Federal Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and that's something that is very, very well known by me. I covered that a lot. That was one of my kind of, I would say, specialties in the corporate realm when I was corporate counsel. There are 3 separate elements. So you need a representation, omission, or practice that is likely to mislead a customer. So the practice would be, hey, donating bits from the sock puppet account. The consumer's interpretation is reasonable under the circumstances. So the consumer is thinking this is a private party. This is somebody else. This is not the mod. This is not pirate software. They're thinking, oh, look, this person is extending the hype train. And so because of that misleading representation, that materially led others to donate more to keep it going. It's a very well-known thing in scams and cons. This is something that confidence men do. They get fake buyers to go out there and gin up interest so that people will buy stuff even though it's overpriced. That is a
salty
fraudulent practice. So by not disclosing the fact that essentially your agent,
but nobody came,
is going out here and doing that, that is
can you not
a reasonable viewer, a reasonable consumer. That's a possible interpretation of that. Once again, it's not for sure that he would be convicted of this, but this is opening up the door to these questions. Beyond that, there's state law. So Twitch is in California. Every state has their own Deceptive Practices Act. Florida has one, Georgia has one, New York. A lot of them follow what's called the UDTPA, which is the Uniform Deceptive Trade Practices Act. But some of them also have things that go further, and some of them have criminal penalties, including California, which can hit you if you.
What's going on? A lot.
So, Consumer Legal Remedies Act, California has that. And I mentioned California, by the way, because that's where Twitch is. So it would be very reasonable if a California donor, if a California whale brought a claim against a California corporation in a California court against, Twitch and against.
What about Salt? Salty is writing his usual message of ... but nobody came. Which is probably from Undertale, I believe. I'm not too sure, though.
Mr. Pirate Software. So there's 3 things that really come up, and these are separate under the law. The Consumer Legal Remedies Act. Now, that's typically used to products, but there could be an argument that it would apply to services, particularly services that were fraudulent or misleading. But beyond that, there's California Business Code 17500, which leads to false or misleading statements or false or misleading advertisement. And this could be perceived as, hey, falsely advertising that you're number 1 on the hype train, that you're this hype train leader, that you're this person that needs to be donated to keep this thing going, to breach all these levels, when really most of those levels,
mental crisis,
a lot of those levels, some of those levels.
As far as I can see, Pirate Software exposed, well, on accident, seemingly on accident, exposed a chat log between him and one of his mods, which is called Kronos. And there, Kronos was, well, sort of discussing with Pirate whether, how to donate to him to extend the timer on his hype train. Right? And Pirate, instead of saying, hey, no, you can't use a second account to do this, instead supported this endeavor by saying, yeah, bits are the best way because I get to keep, like, the return on those is 82%. Which is, kind of, But yeah. So they basically just, committed fraud? I believe because of that, because the wrong intent and action, and the second account instead of the main account, also saying he's not Kronos, even though, you know, it is him, and, you know, kind of, that's only one step above botting your stream just to boost yourself in the algorithm. True, indeed.
Were just artificially inflated by either Pirate Software's mod or the sock puppet accounts. I mean, who knows? We don't really have a full track on that yet. And beyond that, there's the unfair competition law. And this one I think is pretty juicy, because this one would even allow other creators the potential to say, hey, this is unfair competition. You're allowing these people to inflate their numbers and get this hype train going on, get featured on the front page, get highlighted, get hyped up, you know, by, by the CEO himself, all this sort of good stuff. And that's unfair competition. That's giving them an unfair edge, because they're doing things that are violating the TOS freely. And hey, if you don't enforce this, Twitch, if you don't do anything, Twitch, this is a problem. Now, beyond that, there are other issues other than him losing subs. And of course, once again, him losing
104K lost. Whew.
Subs just adds the potential of people that might sue. But beyond that, there's advertisers. Advertisers might feel like they were defrauded. They might feel angry because they're saying, hey, we're running ads and they're supposed to be on the top channels. But if he's falsely inflating his numbers and he's being falsely promoted, well, maybe we're not really getting the value we thought we were getting. We thought we were getting a value of someone who was #1 in the hype trains, who was leading in this pack of hype trains. And we're not getting that value. And even if they don't have a claim, they might express their anger. They might pull out. They might refuse to advertise. Beyond that, this could open the flawed floodgates.
That is a massive ouch, indeed.
Crack down on this, does not issue some punishment, some correction. Well, others might say, well, I can do that too. And then everybody is going and committing this deception, which would just open up Twitch as a really, really poor perceived platform where everyone is essentially.
You mean as it currently is doing by not banning the guy who threatened two viewers? Not just threatened two viewers with a gun, but also doxed those two viewers. And still didn't get any kind of punishment.
Boosting their own numbers, which once again goes towards Twitch's impotent image. Twitch is something that Twitch's a platform that I've talked about a lot, because they failed to enforce their own rules evenly, fairly, and justly. And if you have terms of service and you never enforce them, well, that's not a good look for your platform as a whole. And that's why other platforms are rising. Even platforms like Kick are passing Twitch in many metrics because of the image. And other platforms like YouTube look at that and say, hey, we're going to stay away from those sort of images, that sort of image, and enforce our rules. So this is a really bad look for Twitch. It does not look good for Pirate Software, and is likely to continue his downward slide. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Oh no. Did he ever apply for a play button when he got to the 100k sub mark? Maybe we should note those people that chose to not get one as suspect if he didn't apply for one. Maybe, but then again, maybe they just don't care. I don't want to make assumption like those with no information whatsoever, right? But yeah, that is actually a fair take in that, like, in this context. Yeah, you're kind of right. That is something to think about. Bless you, Frosty! Check out Legal Mindset, like and subscribe.